Alright, in example 1, we have to identify the slope and y-intercept of the line with the given equation. Notice that this one just says identify the slope and y-intercept. It says nothing about graphing. So the very first thing we always do, no matter what the directions say, is make sure our equation is in slope-intercept form before I answer. So I check to make sure I've got y equals mx plus b. So the slope-intercept form is in fact y equals x plus 3. The number that's in front of x is really a 1, and the constant is a 3. So I'm all set there. Now let's go to the next piece. I have negative 2x plus y is equal to 5. I need to get that x term to the right side of the balance line. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2x, so that I have 0 plus y, so there's just y, equals, and then I'm going to put it in order. It's a positive 2x and a positive 5. So 2x plus 5. That is in fact my slope-intercept form because it's in y equals and it's in the proper order. So y equals 2x plus 5. Our m is always the number in front of x. That's our slope, our motion, and our starting point of positive 5. Now sometimes we only have one step to do, like in example C, which is divide both sides by 4. So let's do that. Trying to get y all by itself. Remember, division makes ones. So we would have 1y. Divide by 4, so that we get y equals 3/4 x minus 4. Again, that is our slope-intercept form. The number in front of x in this case is 3/4, so that's our slope. And our y-intercept, it's usually plus b, so be careful that you make that negative 4, plus a negative. Give problem D a try, and come back and check your work. Alright, hopefully you went through and you solved that problem. I want to point out one common error right here, and that's when students write their slope down, they have a tendency to put the x their x next to the m value. Make sure that you only give me the number in front of x. I don't want the x. I will take points off for that. Alright, in this next problem, it says to just simply graph the equation. We still have to do all the steps, but your job and what I'm going to be looking at is just simply the graph. So the first thing we need to do is put it into slope-intercept form. And to do that, we're still going to subtract 4x, so we end up with 0 plus y, so y equals negative 4x plus 2. Oops, I guess I should have put that here on this line. Y equals negative 4x plus 2. Step 2 is to identify the slope and the y-intercept. Identify. The m in this problem is negative 4. And when we see negative 4, we should be thinking that that means we will fall 4 units every time we move right 1 unit. It's motion. The b value, or the y-intercept, is at positive 2, means that we're going to start at the point 0, 2. That's our starting spot. Step 3, it actually says plot the point that corresponds to the y-intercept. That's the information. Again, I already wrote it down. And then we use the slope to locate a second point on the line. And I want you to take this out and say, locate the possible points because if it fits on the graph paper, it should be plotted for you. So our starting point, count by ones, so we start at 0, 2, and we're going to fall 4 every time we move right 1. Fall 4 and move right 1, and that one's a little off, but I'll put it in anyway, and I can work my pattern backwards to have 1 extra point so I know how to connect the dots. Again, on a homework or on a test or quiz, you'll be using a straight edge so you don't end up with wiggle worms, you actually get lines. Things I said. All the possible points that can be on the graph paper should be. We use the slope to move, and we use the y-intercept as a starting spot. Problems E and F have you doing everything all on your own. Give those guys a try and come back and listen to the rest. Alright, so hopefully you've checked over problems E and F and you've written down some questions and things that might have you worried. Write down a note about what mistake you made when you did it on your own, and if you didn't do it on your own, then maybe create one that you need to test yourself on, because this is definitely an important skill. I will see you in the next video.